Good morning, guys. I hope you're all well and had done yesterday's work, and also hopefully you understood the work, but I think you would have. I'm going to send the answers as soon as this video is finished. Okay, guys, so today we're going to do estimating answers. So when we estimate, we are not trying to get the exact answer. So this is not going where you see two amounts, you add them in your head, and you think, okay, this is going to be roughly about 1,200. But in actual, when you do it exactly, you would get a more exact number of, say, 1,624. But you were in the same area. So they say, we want a rough idea of what the answer could be. In the way we judge if the answer seems right. We estimate by rounding off numbers. Rounding off numbers are easier to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. We use the symbol, so this is more like a equal to, but it's approximately equal to. So it's not exactly, it's approximately. So we put a curve into it and not just straight lines. So by estimating rounding off, so when we round off to the nearest 10, we use the units digit. So we focus on this one, the units digit. When we focus of when we round off to the nearest 100, we use the tens digit. Then we use this one. This is our tens digit. But when we round off to the nearest 1,000, we use our hundreds digit. So we focus on our hundreds digit for the nearest 1,000. Then, in case of in all cases, if we round, if the digit is 5 or more, we round up. If the digit is 4 or less, we round down. So that small sentence you could recall we have said a few times during this video sessions. So when we round off to the nearest 5, we use the units digit. So now we're going to look here. When we use the number line below to help you rounding off to the nearest 5. So when we're rounding off to the nearest 5, if you can count with me, we start at 1,000. It's also in your textbook, so you can follow in your textbooks as I explain here. So when we look at 4,325, so if you count from here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's a 5 unit gap. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, so when we have, let's say, 4,325, we are going to round up. Now, so no, this is the 5. So when we have, let's say, for instance, 4,327. So now we have a 7. So this means it is closer to 4,325 than it is to 4,330. Now, also, when we have 4,328, this is closer to 4,330 than it is to 4,325. Because we are now doing it, we're rounding off to the nearest 5. We must focus now on how many units the digits is apart, the numbers is apart. So for instance, when we have 4,332, it is closer to 4,330 than it is to the next 5, so 4,335. But when we have a 3, a 4, we round up. When we have a 2 and a 1, we round down to the nearest 5. You understand? So let's say here, we have a 9 and we have an 8 at the end. The units is an 8 and a 9. So then we round up to the next 5. But when we have a 7 or a 6, which is smaller, we go to this 5, the smaller 5. Okay, so this is actually very straightforward, very easy. So when we look at activity 7, round off the following numbers to the nearest 5, then to the nearest 100, tens, and thousands. So let's just focus on to the nearest 5. So when we round off to the nearest 5 here, we get 8,436. So the nearest 5 would be 8,435, because this is nearer to the smaller 5 than to the bigger next 5. So for instance, 5,689. Let me just get a writing book here so I can write along with you guys. So when you look at the following, let's say for instance 7,721. So now we round off to the nearest 5. So the nearest 5 would be 7,720 because it is nearer to the smaller 5. But let's say this one was 7,723. Now we would have rounded it up to the nearest 5. So it would have been 7,725. Now, so this is the nearest 5. Okay, very straightforward, very easy. You can actually go and look through this if you want to do it, but it's not really as important. We're going to go on with the other work here. So they say here, estimating using doubling. We can use doubling as means of estimating if the answer we are adding are close together. So for example, let's do the example they gave us there. They gave us 48 plus 49 equals a box. Now, we all know this. I've said it during the exam as well. This is my number sentence. This tells me a story as to what's going to happen. So, now we look. Both of them are 48 and 49, which means they are both near to 50, the next 5. So, when we round this up to the nearest 5, it would have been 50, and this one would also have been 50. So in actual fact, what stands here, if they say estimate using doubling, so now you look for the nearest doubles. So then it would have been 50 plus 50, and the answer would have been, well, that should have been a funny equal sign, 100. Now, so they say both 48 and 49 are close to 50. Double 50 equals 100, and the answer is then 100. For example 2, let's say 565 plus 560. So now we round to the nearest. So now they say double the smaller number for a closer estimate. So when we double the smallest number to get a closer estimate, now we go and see 560 plus 560 gives us an amount of 1,120. So the answer for that matter would be 1,120. So this is very straightforward when using doubling. So we round to the nearest number. So let's say example 3, 3,990 plus 3,996 equals my answer sentence. Now, both the numbers are close to 4,000. We can all agree on that. Now, so if we round off to the nearest 100, this would all equal that to become 4,000. So both are 4,000 in actual fact. So this would mean they add up to 8,000. This is estimating using doubling. So again, this is very straightforward, easy work if you look at it this way. Now, when we are doing activities, now we say estimate the answers and to do the following calculations by rounding off. Now, I have done some here. So you are going to do A, C, and F for number 1, number 2, only A and D. But I had done some few examples to show you guys. So now they give you at number B, 820 plus 470. Now we're going to estimate the answers, but doing this, we're going to do it to the nearest 100. So 820 and 470. So 820, the 20 is close to 800, then it's to the next 100. So we write down 800. 470, well, 470 is closer to 500 than it is to 400, so we round it up. So this means when you add 800 plus 500, you would come at 1,300. This would be your estimate answer. It is going to be exactly what you're going to do. So 21,363 plus 32,602. Now again, we're going to round up to the nearest 100 to estimate the answer. So when we round up, this means this is going to become, now that's a 6. So when it's 5 and above, we round up. So it's going to be in actual fact 21,400 because we're rounding up to the nearest hundred. So 602, 32,602. Now, when we're rounding up to the nearest hundred, we all can see 602 is closer to 600 than to 700. So we round down. So it's going to be, when you add 21,400 plus 32,600, it's going to be 54,000 estimate. That's my estimate 2. Now number E, they give us 42,387 minus 19,999. Now we can see again, 387 is closer to 400 than it is to 300. No. So this would round up to 400. And 19,999 is closer to the next 1,000 than it is to 19,000. So this would become 20,000. So this one rounds up to 42,400 and this one rounds up to 20,000. So now we're minusing. You must always look at your nominators there. So it's 42,400 minus 20,000 equals 22,400. Yeah, just 400, sorry. So this is my estimate answer. This is not going to be the exact answer. We're estimating it for it to be more or less the same. Now, at number 2, at activities 8 on page 117, we look at using doubling to estimate the answer. Now we can look again. This is exactly like the examples we just did. So you get 1,996 plus 1,999. So both of them would be 2,000 because when we round them up to the nearest 100, we can both see they're going to add up to 2,000. There. So when you add 2,000 plus 2,000, we're going to be left with an estimate answer of 4,000. Also number E, when we do E, 376 plus 375. Now they both, this number 7, if the answer is 5 and above, we round up. So when we round these both up, they add up to 400 and 400, which means the estimate answer is going to be 800. See, so hopefully this is not difficult for you guys to understand. So each time we're rounding up to the nearest 100. Here we obviously the nearest 100, here the nearest 100 as well, actually. So we look at that. So this means the nearest 100 is 1,000, 1,000. So it rounds up to 2,000. Now, checking solutions. When checking, we can remember how to check the solutions if the calculations are correct. Now, guys, we have done this also. If you can remember, we did it as a class assessment. So let's quickly look through this. Okay, so checking solutions using the inverse. Now, you know the test, the last test we have written, there was of the previous second last test was there was inverse in the test. So guys, checking solutions using the inverse. So when you get 273 plus 429, you must go and check, and that equals to 702. Now you must go back to see if this is true using the inverse. Now guys, when using the inverse, we know, let me just write this down quickly. Using the inverse, so now we're doing addition here. Now the inverse of addition is subtraction. Now, so now you take the answer that you have come up with this equation. So you take 702, and now you write. You're gonna have two. There's gonna be two sums you're gonna do here to see if the answer is correct. So 702 minus 273 must give you an answer of 429. So this one is true. No, it's correct. Now we're going to do at number 2, the second one. So you take again the answer, that answer, and you write it down first. Then you minus 400 229, and the answer should give you 273, which would be correct. Now, so again, let's do this one. 538 minus 346 gives us an answer of 192. Now we're going to check it. Doing the checks, we're going to use the inverse rule. So now we see they have done a subtraction. So we're going to do in the inverse addition. So again, now you take your answer, you write this answer down first. So after you have done that, you're going to add 346. And this answer should give you 538. Now, or you could have just written it like this. This is also an inverse method, but this is just doing work doubly. I never do this, but according to the textbook we should. So this will also give you an answer of 538. There. So we use subtraction to check addition and addition to check subtraction. We must remember to always estimate the answer before we calculate to check the answers. So now we're going to look at activity 9. I've done the first two as examples. You're going to do the 3, 4, 5, and 6 for homework. Now, they give us an amount of 35 plus 245 equals 390. Now, straight off, you can see something is not adding up here. Because when you add 35 to 245, it will not give you 390. You can just use your common sense to see that. But now you have to go and check to see if this is true or correct. So they say, which of the following calculations are correct? So now we go, check. 390, you take your answer, you write it down first. Then you can take any of these and subtract it, because now they're doing addition, and the inverse of addition is subtraction. So now you go 390 minus 35, then you calculate it and you see, oh, but it's 355. So this means this one is not correct. This sum is not correct. So then you go and number 2, you just take again 390, write it down first, and you subtract 245. Now, if this was supposedly correct, you would have gotten 35. But now you see you get 145. So this means, therefore, this calculation is incorrect. Then you write it like this. So let's go on to number 2. 508 minus 214 gives you 394. Now again, if you just look straight off at it, you can see something is not adding up, because when you minus 200 from 500, there's only going to be 300 left. So again, this is too high of a number, so something is not right. So let's go and check. So 390, because you take your answer, you write your answer down first, then you can take either one of these and do it. So the inverse of subtraction is addition. So now you're going to add. So now you take 394 plus 214, and this should give you 508. But now you see it gives you 608. So this means this calculation is also incorrect. So this is checking your solutions with the inverse method. So you guys know this, I've done it with you many times. So what I want you to do at home is activity 8, page 117, number 1, ACF, number 2, A and D, and activity 9, page 117, number 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright guys, strong with the work. It's very straightforward. If you do not understand, just go through the video again. Hopefully my explanations was effective enough. And yeah, strongs guys.